the birthplace of the capital of the bluegrass, McConnell Springs, where Lexington, Kentucky was born. Hey everybody, this is Colonel Carson with Family Tree Nuts, and I'm in McConnell Springs Park, here in the north end of Lexington, Kentucky. We're on the middle fork of Elkhorn Creek, which is known as Town Branch now. Our story begins in 1774, when William McConnell led a surveying team from Pennsylvania to this area. McConnell went back to Pennsylvania for the winter, and in June of 1775, he set a camp and built a cabin here with his brother. Soon, word came from the newly built Fort Boonesborough. They informed the McConnell brothers that the Revolutionary War had started at the Battle of Lexington and Concord on April the 19th, 1775. The brothers thought it was fitting to name their camp Lexington in the battle's honor. During this time, Native American attacks were rampant in the area, so the brothers were forced to go back home to Pennsylvania and abandon the settlement. 4 years later, in 1779, Colonel Robert Patterson came back to the area and built a permanent settlement. The settlers chose to keep the name Lexington. The McConnell brothers also came back at this time. The town grew to be a huge area of importance due to its central location in the bluegrass region and its early settlements. The site, McConnell Springs, grew to have a rich history of its own. In 1810, Samuel and George Trotter bought the land and started a gunpowder mill. This gunpowder mill was vital to the importance of the War of 1812. The gunpowder mill closed when Samuel died in the 1833 cholera epidemic. You might remember the video we did about the town drunk, King Solomon, who became a hero during the cholera epidemic. In 1835, Thomas Smith started a horse farm called Westbrook Stock Farm. During the cleanup of the gunpowder mill, an explosion erupted, injuring 2 and killing 1. The farm was closed in 1838 and passed hands several times to different investors. Then in 1859, John Wilson bought in and started another farm. Beginning in the 1880s, some of the water of the spring began to be pumped to a distillery, of course. Bourbon whiskey is definitely a thing that this area is known for. In 1886, Mr. David Cahill bought the land and turned it back into a farm, giving it its name from a half a century earlier, Westbrook Stock Farm. They bred trotting horses and later added a dairy farm. The farm ran for 72 years when it was sold in 1958. The land was bought by the Central Rock Company to do underground gravel mining. They tore down all the old buildings of the old farm. The property sold again in 1983 to the Dallas Development Company. They began to fill the area with dirt so it could be developed. They were about to fill in the historic springs until an ordinance stopped them. In 1992, local citizens started to clean up the area. And in 1993, part of the land was donated to the city, and the Friends of McConnell Springs was founded. In 1999, the Kentucky American Water Company Education Center opened here. Today, the area is a park where many enjoy the walking trails and the amazing sights such as the replica cavern, the Blue Hole, and the boils. What's the Blue Hole? The Blue Hole is the location where William McConnell set his camp up in 1775 that became Lexington in 1779. Water from the Lexington area seeps through limestone bedrock, and then it pools here in about a 15-foot sinkhole. The deep water is what gives the pool its blue color. From here, the water flows back underground and appears at the boils. This area is called the boils because often after heavy rains, water shoots high into the air. The name the boils makes you think that the water would be hot here, but the water is actually in the 50s. From here, the water goes underground again and eventually into Town Branch, the Elkhorn Creek, and then the Kentucky River. You can also see the remains of a structure, which was the Cahill Dairy Farm Creamery built in the early 1900s. We're lucky that these historic sites have been saved by geology. The ground is soggy here, and it couldn't be developed. And that's why it survived to this day. Some more things to see here at the park are the remains of rock fences that are all over the park. You can also see the remains of the farm that was here. And one of my favorite things here, the bur oak. The bur oak is around 250 years old, which means it was a sapling around 1770. It was here when the McConnell brothers first came in 1774. It has seen everything in Kentucky's past, post-Native Americans. It is amazing what this tree has seen. Just down the road, you can see William McConnell's house, the original pioneer that came to the area in 1774. Shortly after he returned to the area in 1779, just a mile from this location, he built a house in 1785. It's one of the oldest houses in Lexington, and it's amazing that it survived. So, here we are at McConnell Springs, the location where Lexington, Kentucky, the capital of the bluegrass, the horse capital of the world, was born. This is a place that few people that live around here know is even here. We encourage you to check it out, learn about its history, and enjoy its beauty. And hey, remember, family tree nuts, let our nuts find the nuts in your family tree.